Mark, I love that background.
Yeah, it's dope. It's dope.
Look at that joint.
Yeah, man, we talked about it. All right,
Yes.
hey folks, Mark, the Speakerman Wiggins. Mark also still having the studio right now. Haki, the success scholar who does his wonderful program every Monday night, 8 to 9 p.m. He had actors and actresses on the set tonight. One of them is involved with a play, self-made play about Malcolm X. Man, I just want to make sure you greet Brother Haki while he's in the studio.
Hey, bro, how you doing, man?
What's going on? What's going on?
All right. I can watch this on my
Man, yeah,
on my
you
phone, right?
watch it on your phone?
All right, looking forward. I'll check it out on my way home, bro.
I appreciate it. I was listening in on the show. That's some good stuff you got there, sir.
All right, where you at? Where are you?
I'm over here in Oakton, Virginia.
Oak, son?
Yeah, backside of Vienna, I like to say.
Okay, Vienna. Okay, all right, I know where Vienna is. Okay.
All
All right, my brother, well, knock it out, bro. I'll be listening in.
right, thank you, sir.
All right, take care. All right, Roland.
All right. Mark, we're going to jump right into it, man. What good stuff do you have for us today?
Tonight, man, I get a couple good things. Hold on, I need to go live on my end. Reach one. Come off this Facebook so I don't get buzzed up all night long. All right, bet. I'm live on my end. What you got, sir?
Oh, we're good.
You good?
Ready to go?
Yeah, so look, so tonight we're going to have a discussion. A topic is participating in your destiny. Participating in your destiny. That's the thing. And one of the things I talked about was actually one person I want to show you, though. Well, check this out. Check me out. Check me out. The book is here, dude.
Success does not need a cosigner is the name of the book.
Success does not need a coast. I don't even know where I'm pointing this thing at. It came in off the presses today for the for my book release birthday party reception on May 17th at the Atlantis studio out here in Sterling, Virginia. So that's going to be a big event coming up next week. I think you're supposed to be posting up, Roland. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
The Roller Grimes shows on the road. I'll be interviewed. We'll talk about my book. We're talking about success, man. You know, we talk about success a lot. I want to give a shout out right quick to a couple of my sponsors. You do I got sponsors for this event.
Awesome.
This is being crazy.
Man, this is beautiful.
First, we got actually my girl Cheryl Tolbert is on my Facebook Live. Hey, Cheryl. Shout outs to Nanny's First. They're sponsoring in and coming through with some food. We also have a brother with a cigar company, and then I got a wine tasting company coming in. And then Chantel's Bakery. Brother just got off the phone with me, Roland, and said he's going to make me a cake that looks like my book.
Awesome.
Dude, we'll make it look good like that. So, it should be a good night. Hello, people out there in TV land. What's up? Dr. Reese. Risa Davis is online watching. Appreciate you watching. So, yeah, Roland.
Yes.
So, tonight's discussion.
Well, actually, before you go into that, you have two major events coming up in the next week.
On the 13th.
You have Wednesday night, which is the birthday bash, and then some, and then 13th, Saturday.
Yeah, I heard the promotion of that. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. So people jumping in, go ahead and rerun what that event is on the 13th.
Saturday, May 13th, it's the Rolling Grimes Traveling Talk Show Live. Mark, you've been a part of our shows when we are, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. I'm asking, can you hear me on the other side?
Oh, I hear you very well.
Okay.
Oh, you're asking the people on Facebook, can they hear you?
Yeah, last time I didn't set it up right.
You moved your lips and nothing was coming out. Yeah, so fortunately, Mark, you had a chance to sit on our sets and be interviewed when we first met at a restaurant at the Time of Society Lounge. And you got a flavor of how we do this thing live. And, of course, you've done some stuff with us at Everlasting Life in front of audiences. Well, this time we're going to put a twist with a live band. So we're going to do it just like you see on late night TV. And the band is none other than Greg Boyer and the Peloton Band. And for those who don't know Greg played 7 years with Prince, 20 years with Parliament Funkadelic, 23 years with Chuck Brown. He's also played the last decade and a half with James Brown's old Maceo Parker. Mm-hmm. And he's also done work with everyone from Ryan Culbertson to Eric Benet to Larry Graham. And he does music and horn arrangements for a bunch of artists as they come to the DC area and they're looking for a horn section. And a lot of times Greg will provide the write the horn lines for their artistry. And when they come here, he will either perform or he'll provide the scripts and recommend horn sections for them. He has an ensemble with the P-Funk horns back in the day with Greg Thomas and Benny Cowan out of Baltimore. Greg is from Southern Maryland. So he'll be hitting us with some. Bottom.
Nice.
He's gonna bring some funk, and in between, our headliner is right now the head football coach, brand new head football coach at Howard University, Coach Mike London.
He was at UVA, correct?
Exactly. He was at UVA,
Right.
And then he was assistant head coach at University of Maryland, and now he is the head coach at Howard University. So he'll talk HBCUs. Education and developing and building an athletic program at HBCU level. In addition, we've invited Tioga Jackson, who is the the sole franchisee owner of IHOP restaurants in the DC proper area.
Wow.
He has exclusive rights to IHOP in DC. You can't build one without his permission. And the two that are in existence are his. And he's on schedule, and a few other surprises. In addition to Mark Wiggins will be one of my primary co-hosts for that evening. I'm really looking forward to it. And we're going to give people a very, very good program, something they've never seen before, live, where the band plays during the commercials. We're going to film it, and then we're going to air it, and then we're going to take this thing on the road all over the country.
Let's get with it.
So that will be Saturday, May 13th, 4 o'clock p.m. at the Black Box Theater.
Wait, that's this weekend.
Yep. This Saturday, May 13th, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Black Box Theater, Indian Head, Maryland. And the best way to go now to get your tickets, the tickets are $25. And the best place to go right now is actually IndianHeadBlackBox.org, IndianHeadBlackBox.org. And if you forget that, Mark, hot off the press, have a brand new website. And it's you have to put it in your address bar because it's brand new. And the website is called Google Rollin' Grimes.
Oh.
And you can get information and purchase tickets right there. Google Rollin' Grimes.
Awesome.
.com.
Yes, sir. There's a lot there, Roland. You dropped a mouthful on it.
I'm glad.
But it's going to be off the chain. I can't wait. It's going to be. I know you've been working really, really hard to make this come to fruition. And that kind of leads us, segue, into the discussion for this evening. Here on the Mark Wiggins Show, we're talking about participating in your destiny. Participating in your destiny. Well, what I thought about when I was writing this for the book, it's actually in the book, Roland, is that oftentimes people say they want to do something, say they want to go somewhere, achieve a goal, start a business, start a doctor's office, or start a cooking business or whatnot, and they don't necessarily take the steps that's required to get things moving. Like, they have a great dream, like they have it all together, got the best business plan ever, this side of history of business plans, but they don't take the steps that are necessary to get things going. Like, they just think it's supposed to pop up. And even worse is when they get it open and get it running, they think that it all should, I build it, they should come. They should come. When I talk about this piece a lot with athletes, especially young athletes, they have this bad mindset. They figured that because I was good in the AU team, or I was good on the kickball team or whatever, and I will be good. I don't have to work on my skill set. I don't have to work at what I'm supposed to do because someone's going to find me. And I kind of remind kids and whatnot that, hey, it's a lot of people out there trying to do what you do. And if you're not going to be involved in your own destiny, then it'll be, something else will take place for you. So if you're not working on your skill set, if you're not going to the camps, getting the coaches, getting the trainers, getting your mind right, oh yeah, by the way, get them grades together, then you won't have a chance to have that destiny. You'll be doing something else with your destiny. And it really is just about taking action. One of the big things in this destiny piece that people often overlook, Roland, is the thing called work, hard work. And you are the epitome in my mind of someone who does hard work, because when we met, you had this grand big dream of this show thing. And I'm thinking that, yeah, okay, all right, I'm gonna ride with you because, I want to do some TV work. But there's no way in the world I could dream your dream. That's kind of what the book is about, right? I can't dream your dream. I have my dream that I think can tie into what we're doing. It ties in what we're doing, but it's not my dream. You're the one who put the work in. You're the one who's out late at night getting shows, making edits, making it come together. You put the work in to help your destiny get to where it is now and where it's headed to go. If you don't participate, then things happen for you. And so that's kind of like the book. You know, you don't need, success doesn't need a co-signer. You want somebody else to come along and sign up for what you're believing into, or you won't move until they sign on to it. But, you know, if we talk about co-signer for a moment, we all know that when you think about co-signer, you think about that bank loan. You think about a loan or car loan. And when you have a co-signer, the co-signer signs on and basically says to the lending institution or whatnot that if this person defaults, don't pay, whatever, then you agree to cover the shortage, right? You're going to step in and carry on as if nothing ever happened. They're coming for you. So you are co-signing on to this person's actions, right? Well, if you have a co-signer for your dreams and you set your message out there and you're trying to do what you want to do and you stop your dream, like, not going to do it. Does the co-signer then pick your dream up and keep it going? If Roland decides to stop doing this video thing and I co-sign Roland, hey, Roland, I'm with you, I'm riding, do I then jump in for Roland and keep Roland's dream moving? Absolutely not. That's ludicrous. That is not my dream. And if I jumped in and did it, it becomes my dream. It's no longer his dream. So when you need your success and you're trying to get your destiny, you don't need people piling on. You don't need people come along and say, I'm with you. You need to have yourself ready to go, get your mind ready to go, and definitely put in the work that you want to put in. So definitely when dealing with people with jobs as well. When you take a job, the 9 to 5, sitting there and punching that clock, or 3 to 4:30, whatever you're working, you have to be responsible for what you want to do. You have to make the decision. Do I sit here and rock? Or do I get some training? Do I prepare myself for the next level? Do I get ready to move? Do I start looking for a place to go? That's what participating means. Participating in your destiny. It's like, you know, when we played sports, and I remember when I blew my knee coming out of high school, and I had to get back on the court. I had one or two ways to do this. I could sit back and maybe never get my range of motion back on my leg, or I'd have to get in there and deal with some pain, get in the pool, get my legs going, and get back on the court.
Right.
That's the decision. The decision to engage or not engage in your destiny. If I didn't engage, I wouldn't have had the career I would have had at all. I didn't know how it would end up, but I tell you what was not going to happen. Let me tell you what's not going to do. Have me sit on the bench and not ever play again. That was not going to happen. So, you know, you want to make sure you participate in your destiny and get off the bench and get going.
So what is it that prevents people from taking that approach, Mark?
Usually fear. Different levels of fear. You have fear of success. You have fear of failure. You have fear of ridicule. And I think out of all of those, Roland, the biggest crime probably is fear of success. And the reason I say that is, and I deal with it too. I had to be, you know, transparent right here as you're staring at me. Dealing with success, because once you become successful, then the expectations change. And oftentimes we're not willing to deal with the fact that we're actually pretty good and that we're really, really good. And that now I just can't slide on through and sit to the back. So I've actually got to be up front. People now expect things out of me. I should expect more from me anyway. So putting yourself out there is probably the biggest fear is the fear of success that people don't want to put out there.
I mean, you have a real good point. So, for example, in this genre of media, and we built this studio a year ago, and the founders, Dr. Baruch, Reggie, had this vision of doing audio, video, streaming live on the internet. And I said, man, just do audio, man. Video is a monster trying to do them both. And Reggie wanted to do them both, and he set his feet in cement, and he pulled it off. And it is a wonderful platform. I'm not saying it just because I'm involved with it. When I watch the shows and I get a chance to see the commentary from different people and things been able to do with it, it's amazing. However, it's now it's turning that corner of its next level of success, where we may have been able to bring in 7 or 8 people who wanted to do shows, the first 3 or 4 months. The next 3 or 4 months, that became, 14. And then, 6 months later, that number is creeping toward 25 or 30. Mm-hmm. And with that success now, Mark, comes the fact that now I have to get up every day at 7 o'clock, 7:30, do the first show at 9, and then like today, the last one ends at 9, after 9:30. Mm-hmm. So that's 12 hours. And in between, I had to pick my daughter up, pick her up at school, take her some things. And then after this, I have to stop, pick up some food, take it home to my uncle, and then try to unwind, try to get to sleep before 1 o'clock a.m. so I can get up at 6 and 7 o'clock, do it again tomorrow.
I'm tired just listening to you right now.
Exactly. So so as you broach success, all of a sudden the demands on your time increase. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the people around you have trouble adjusting to it. And sometimes you have trouble adjusting to it. Because we dream of, hey man, I'm gonna go on the road and I'm gonna do this. Well, yeah, Mark, I want to take the show on the road, but if all of a sudden I get these bids and somebody wants me someplace every week, man, it gets tiring getting on and off of those airplanes, trying to coordinate all those activities, dealing with the mishaps, the technical problems, etc. So there's a comfort zone that everyone has. And we don't know exactly when that comfort zone has been stretched or exceeded until we walk into a situation where we're like, you know what, this is overwhelming. I can't take this anymore. And then it's hard to reconfigure what we're doing. So Mark, I'm going to throw this question out to you for you to ponder and then give a response as you're dealing with yourself in this genre, and as you're dealing with other people, consulting with other people, and talking to other people in your speeches, and you're helping them to understand that in order for them to participate in their destiny, that they actually can't stay where they are to get to where they want to go. Mm-hmm. How do you help them understand how to make that transition from living in where they are to striving toward where they want to go?
Dude, you asked some deep questions. That's a great question because
awesome.
That's what you do, right? What you do. Trying to get people to get off the bench and get moving forward into where you're trying to go. It really requires a mind shift, a mind change. And quicker you get to the point where you recognize I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, you can get moving and going forward. I think a lot of times people get caught up in the whole moving. They think they have to have it all together. Like you just described a whole bunch of stuff. And it could keep some people awake at night. Those kind of details of driving or flying or whatever, but by the way, you've been praying and wanting all this, here it comes. Now it shows up, you got to go act. Well, if you can get to that point, things will, they'll fall in order. You'll hire somebody, you'll get somebody in place, and things will line themselves up. Trying to get people to move and participate really requires them to stop overthinking about the final end. Let me just do what's next. What is in front of me right now that I need to handle? And, my word for the year, my Facebook friends should know, is momentum. And momentum requires that certain things have to happen and continue to happen to build. Not necessarily big events, but small things. Small things. So you got the radio station built. Then you're doing those things. Then you got now live video coming through or people from the studio. Now you're Skyping out. So now all of a sudden anyone can now become a part of the Eli Media group and do that. But to get off yourself and recognize, hey, you know what, let me just go do this. I think that's the part that people have to get over. And I try to tell people, if you would just take 1 or 2 steps in a direction, if you do something every day, if you try to just be on your game, again, go, right now because it's the NBA playoffs and it's like the best time of the year, especially since, my Cavs are winning at this moment. You see the results of all the hard work when nobody was looking. Right? You see the results in the book. I talk about moving without the ball. It's a great concept because you take Reggie Miller. We old school. We know who Reggie Miller is. Now you probably young people say Steph Curry. People moving without the ball. They never stop. There's a rhyme and a reason to what they're trying to do. They're trying to get open and get to the spot. But you can't necessarily do that with the ball. Really, you only have the ball in your hand, a few seconds or a couple of minutes of a total game possible. So what are you doing the rest of the time? You're moving without the ball.
And your opponent knows where your spot is, so they'll want you to get there. So you have to develop creative ways to get to that spot.
You got to find ways to get to the spot. And that's part of what you're talking about, getting people to move on something. If I encourage anybody out there right now on Facebook Live or on Eli Media right now, if you just take a step to go do something, read a book, take a class, watch a YouTube video. If you do enough of those things, Roland, over time, you will find yourself being inspired, which is a pulling force, to go do something. And once you start doing your something has success, I think you can go on and do what you want to do.
Would you just describe? Wow, you got me all choked up, Mark.
Sorry, I can't say before we hear Roland. Some help!
I would hit myself in the chest, but I might cause a conniption with these hammers I got right here. So what you just described, I'm going to call them momentum builders. What you read, what you watch on TV, YouTube, the things that you digest, the things you ingest, to help you build a momentum toward where you want to go. And in doing that, you probably need to limit interaction with the things that work against where you want to go. And with that momentum, it's just like an airplane, rocket ship. In order for a rocket ship, I learned from my good friend Ron Young, who is a author and musician, and also is a very, very intelligent man in terms of understanding vibration and understanding human energy. And he explained to me when a rocket ship takes off, it has this gravitational pull back down to Earth. And it has to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And then once it breaks the gravity field of the Earth, then it's gone. Now it's in outer space and it can go wherever it wants to go. But it's that first degree of momentum that's necessary that requires the most effort and where you're going to get hit with the most resistance. Because you're trying to take yourself someplace where you may never have been, and the gravitational pull is to keep you where you are, whether it's external or internal gravitational pull. So if you're on the bench, how hard is it to get off the bench? If you sit there long enough, does it become harder to get off of it?
You know what? If you're not preparing for the opportunity, yes, it becomes harder to get off the bench. You're not putting in the work. And work is really just defined as putting energy into or on something. It said that when energy is transferred to an object, an idea, or concept, you are doing work on that item. So if you're not working on yourself or working on your game or working on your business or your political plan, again, when it's not time to shine, your time may or may not come. When preparation meets opportunity, Roland, success is born. So, and we all know success doesn't go away. It just goes to the person who's most prepared. So if you're on the bench, dare I say, you should have been practicing, you should be ready to go, minding the game, stay focused, because you never know. You're like the coaches always tell us, you one twisted ankle, one blown knee from being a starter.
Well, that's a real good point, because what you're talking about is getting off the bench and getting into the game. But the mere fact that you're putting the work in, you're getting off the bench.
Yes.
You're getting off of your bench. Now, there are other circumstances that need to happen in order for you to get in the game. And for those who don't know, and please share this with your audience, for Division I football players, average Division I football program, Mark, do you have any idea what percentage of players never ever get into a game day huddle?
No, what is it?
65%.
65%
of the players on any Division I football team never make it into a game day huddle.
The question becomes, what are they doing during all that time? What are they doing?
Well, I mean, many times they end up being practice dummies. You know, basically scout team players.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are special teams, but they never get into a game day huddle, offensive or defensive huddle, as we're referring to. And sure, many of them are putting in the work. So they've gotten off the bench, which means that they're on the team, which means that they've arrived at that level that they wanted to get to. So they've gotten off the bench because they no longer are in high school. They no longer are on the street corner, or they've decided not to be on the street corner. They've decided not to go into something else. They've decided to dedicate 4 or 5 years to playing football. So in essence, they've gotten off the bench because the first stage of getting off the bench, they've gotten off the bench because they're putting in the work to make the team. The second part of it is, which is a lot harder to determine, is whether or not you're actually going to get put in the game. You know, so you could strive, the striving itself and getting off your own bench, as I'm listening to you, getting off your own bench and putting the work in has to happen even before you get into the real game.
Right.
You know,
that's exactly what right. The work has to go in, and then you go back to the mindset. What is your mindset? What are your goals? For those you just making a team, was that your goal? Was your goal to start?
Right.
Either way, one thing that I try to stress to people is that success is personal. It's personal. What looks like success to you, dear sir, may not look like success to me, and vice versa. So while we on the outside looking at that 65%, part of that 65% is just happy to be on the team and be part of that number. They may or may not get their chance, but they fulfill their goal. My goal, by the way, was not to go to the pros. My goal was to have college paid for. So my mom and daddy had to work. You know, people say, oh, Mark, you could have gone to the league. Yeah, maybe so. But I know I walked out of school with 2 degrees and no debt. That was the goal. So I just happened to start having to play, but there are a lot of guys on the team who didn't play. But they were able to fulfill their dream. And yeah, they're disappointed they didn't get to start. But at some point, Roland, we talk about, you have to modify your goals. You have to modify what you're trying to do. If it's not working for you, then you can be realistic. Be realistic about your goal. So what happens then if you're not changing your goals, you're not realistic about what your reality is, you can become discouraged. And dare I say, quit. And we all know a lot of kids who start sports don't finish. And then part of that 65% who ain't had a chance to play graduate. Right? They go on and finish their career because they have one. They graduate and some quit. Well, coach ain't played me. And they gone. Here, some kid just walked on, and now I know he's a starter because why? He kept working and preparing, changed his goal, had his mindset right. It's not easy. It's definitely lonely at the end of the bench. But at some point, you're going to have to be able to get in the game or somewhere and to go play.
That's a great point. Mark, as we begin to wrap up, tell us about your book, man.
All right, so the book just in, pow.
Success does not need a cosigner.
Success does not need a cosigner is the follow-up book to Permission to Succeed. And basically the concept of the book is some encouragement to not have you sit and wait for someone to say go. Someone to be rooting for you and cheering for you and saying, not that that's a bad thing, but you don't need that to move. All right, make that clear. I don't need you to say go to move. I'm going to move on my own. And the book is about encouraging you to go get that, some stories, some anecdotes, some self-help tips, insights to maybe changing your mindset to where you want to go and how to be successful, because I really don't need you to sign off on my success. I'll be successful with or without you. I'll surround myself with the right kind of people and go do what I have to do. That's kind of the gist of the book. And then again, on May 17th if you are in the Loudoun County DMV area, come over to Atlantis Studio, formerly the studio, and there's a book reception 50th birthday party type of event, 7 o'clock on May 17th. Yeah, I know it's a Wednesday, but doggone it, that's when I was born. So there you go.
Enough said. Mark, man, give us a few parting shots, and we'll get this up on YouTube, man, ASAP, because I want us to be able to send this link out as soon as possible.
All right, parting shots. Again, when it comes to your success, just remember, success is personal. What you decide to do and how you decide to go get it is totally up to you. If you get there, you don't get there, you only have to answer to yourself. And be truthful with yourself. If you can do it, do it. If you can't do it, change it, modify it. Don't quit, don't give up. Surround yourself with great people. Stay learning, stay encouraging, stay always working, moving without the ball like we talked about, finding that way, because sooner or later, you're going to have your break. And what I want to know is when the coach looks down the bench at you and says, are you ready to get in the game? Will you be ready to get in the game? Hope you'll be dealing with us. You'll be ready to get in the game. That's it, Roland. That's all I got.
Awesome. Over and out. Roger that. Mark, thanks again, man.
Good night, everybody.
And look for Mark on YouTube through eLife Media. And also we'll be sending this link out to different people. And, of course, Saturday afternoon on stage live with the Roland Grimes Show. And next Wednesday, it's going to be